enriched uranium could be used instead. The thin, imperfect, and battered system of international legal rules that control the spread of nuclear weapons, cobbled together piecemeal during the Cold War, is coming apart at the seams and is actively being undermined by several governments. And it's our apathy here in the world's largest democracy that may collapse this system very soon. If we don't care how many nuclear weapons there are in the world today, right now, then from tomorrow until the end of time, there will always be too many to count. Which brings me to the good news, that the abolition of nuclear weapons is possible. The time is ripe for new energy and a renewal of and globalization of the nuclear disarmament process and real progress toward abolition. The American public is tiring of war and growing more skeptical of military solutions. The British Prime Minister and the Russian First Deputy Prime Minister in the last month have both proposed a multilateralization and resumption of the nuclear disarmament process. The non-aligned movement, unfortunately we're not with them yet in this country, but hopefully we will be soon. The non-aligned movement has asserted itself in opposition to new nuclear weapons, and more states are seeing a role for themselves in the nuclear disarmament process. Cold warriors George Shultz, Henry Kissinger, Sam Nunn, and William Perry have endorsed a vision of a world free of nuclear weapons in 2 op-eds in the Wall Street Journal, and Senator Obama has envisioned a world free of nuclear weapons, and Senator Clinton has her own vision of deep cuts in the world's nuclear arsenals. The robust nuclear Earth penetrator and the reliable replacement warhead, proposals for new nuclear weapons, have been blocked in Congress year after year, much owing to the work of activists from Physicians for Social Responsibility and other allied groups. And this reflects the political possibility, even in this country, for progress toward nuclear disarmament. A model nuclear weapons convention has been surfaced at the United Nations, and doctors and allied health professionals around the world, beginning in Australia, have begun an international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons. There's more energy and political viability behind abolishing nuclear weapons today than there has been for a generation. Which brings me to the urgent news that brought me here tonight. Doctors and allied health professionals have a special responsibility to respond to these dangers. Neither politicians nor military planners will understand the consequences for human life and health of these policy decisions unless doctors and allied health professionals speak out. You can't leave this to the targeteers, the people who draw circles on maps for a living. Their mission will not allow them to get it right. And you can't leave this to the priesthood of nuclear deterrence theory. They don't know who they're deterring anymore. So the debate must be informed by hard facts. The hardest fact I know is that the use of a single nuclear weapon could kill more people than a doctor could heal in 100 lifetimes. The work of Physicians for Social Responsibility proceeds from the premise that every doctor is responsible for preventing what can't be cured. Safe in our day-to-day lives, abolition can sound like a yes or no question, and just impossible enough to make it somebody else's problem. Down dark tunnels leading to launch control centers and locked behind the gates of nuclear weapons laboratories around the world, it's much more complicated. It's a question of as many as 20,000 individual nuclear explosive devices and the material to make tens of thousands more. Each of these nuclear explosives is capable of killing hundreds of thousands of people. Collectively, they could end all life on Earth many times over. Of course, we want them all gone, but if those 20,000 bombs were before you on 20,000 operating tables, each representing a danger to 100,000 or more people, you wouldn't ignore the one closest to you because there were so many. I'm not a doctor, but I don't believe a doctor would do that. That's why a year ago I joined Physicians for Social Responsibility as Director of Security Programs. My father still thinks I'm a night guard at a hospital somewhere. Because I believe that the voice of medical professionals and allied healthcare professionals is essential to fulfilling this generation's historic opportunity to abolish nuclear weapons. We might fail. And if we do, our actions will give cold comfort to future generations who will live in a world of scores of nuclear weapon states and sub-state groups armed with nuclear weapons in the tens of thousands and sometimes use them, killing millions of people and poisoning the earth. But in those days, weeks, and months after the next use of a nuclear weapon, as some of you in this room risk your own lives and health in disaster relief, how will you feel watching images of tomorrow's Hiroshima projected over New York or London or Delhi or even your own home? Some of you may wish you were back here in this beautiful room among brilliant, accomplished, and capable friends, imagining what you could do to prevent that terrible day. What would a 1% chance of saving 1 million lives be worth to you then? Well, we're not talking about a 1% chance, and we're not planning to fail. Dedicated doctors and allied health professionals, including several in this room, are taking concrete steps toward the abolition of nuclear weapons, including creating knowledge about the dangers these weapons pose to human life and health, educating their peers in the public, and using the shared ethical and human commitments of the global epistemic community that is the medical profession to grow a social movement for nuclear weapons abolition. In these 3 ways, if we succeed, doctors and allied health professionals, including perhaps some of you that are here with us tonight, will be among the heroes of peace of the 21st century, the way they were in 1985 when International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War won the Nobel Peace Prize. Doctors and allied health professionals are creating new knowledge, like the study of deciduous teeth from the 1960s that demonstrated that fallout was collecting in the bodies of American children. Today, Dr. Ira Helfand is conducting original research on the danger of a limited nuclear war. He presented his preliminary results, an assessment of the extent of projected global famine resulting from limited regional nuclear war at the Royal Society of Medicine in London in October, and his argument suggests that 1 billion people not co-located with the war itself might be killed by famine and sickness resulting from even a limited nuclear war. Doctors and allied health professionals are speaking with authority to their peers in the public. Dr. Robert Wesley, here with us tonight, and others are testifying at U.S. Department of Energy public hearings in opposition to the plan to rebuild the nuclear weapons production complex and resume large-scale production of new types of nuclear weapons into the indefinite future. Doctors and allied health professionals have been critical members of coalition efforts that have blocked the development of every new nuclear weapon since the end of the Cold War. But this is a year-to-year contest. It's up again. The president's budget is out, and there's a new nuclear weapon in it. Doctors and allied health professionals are building a global social movement based on shared professional norms. Next month in Delhi, India, at the World Congress of the International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War,